or you're unmotivated, but you know you have so many things to do in your business and even those times under a short time frame. Well, especially right now with the holidays around, it's like January is coming, you want to take your business to the next level, but sometimes you don't know how to actually spark that motivation or find the energy that you need to succeed. Well, in this video, I'm going to share tips so you know how to tap into contagious business energy whenever you need it. My name's Joyce Lehman, and I help coaches and consultants to attract and connect their ideal clients online using simple social systems so they can generate more leads and make a bigger impact without getting overwhelmed in the process. Now, it takes real determination to build a business. If you've been building a business for any length of time, the last couple of years with the pandemic, and of course, back in 2008 when I started my business, right in the middle of a recession, it's like that is bad enough. But then it's not just external factors. Sometimes it's internally, it's what's going on in your head that you need to reframe. So when you want to tap into this powerful motivation and enthusiasm, the first thing is understanding what is contagious energy and why do you even need it? So, this is that energy and enthusiasm that comes from when you're excited about what you're doing. Of course, it's when you're generating new sales, you're surrounded by other driven people, you have that desire to succeed. It can be seen as a wave of positivity. And the cool thing is, it actually helps you to work smarter, get more focused, so you can produce better results without producing more effort in the process. So, this type of energy is going to help keep you on your business game. Now, I do go through the video pretty quick. So, if you want the show notes, then drop the word energy in the comments and I will send them your way when we are done. And of course, as always, the show notes are going to be a slightly different version than what you're going to get online. So, of course, the full enchilada is here. Okay. So if you need an energy jump start and you're not feeling it in yourself, then the best thing to do is look at the people who are around you. It's been said you're the average of the 5 people that you spend most time with. That is a Jim Rohn quote. And so that's where if the people that are around you, their attitude, their drive is not lifting you up, it's actually taking you the other way, then that's when it's important to review who you're spending time with. And for me, I've got friends. I have my business/friends group. Those are typically the folks that I go to because they understand the business side. They all have their own businesses, and yet they can be there to give me that loving, butt kicking energy that friends do. But when I need to tap in for actual business advice, they can do that as well. And then, of course, I have a mentor. So that's where tapping in and finding those people is so important when you're not feeling it to begin with. Now, if you've ever been around anybody that has contagious business energy, you will know it. My very first experience with this was in 2005. I met a woman. Her name was Denise Mills. I was in outside sales, went to a networking event because even though I was in outside sales, I was very much introverted at the time. I didn't like talking to people and I needed to learn how to network. When I met Denise, she had that energy that would literally light up the room when she walked in. So maybe this is you, or maybe you've been around those people and you're like, I don't know what that is, but I want that. So know that there are different types of energy that people have. And what I mean by this is if you're online, you're on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever social platform it might be, you're going to see people who look like they have contagious energy. Of course, they are on for the camera. In fact, I heard Charlene Johnson, she was ranting on Instagram last week about the number of not fake profiles, but that fake persona that people put out that is not them. It's not authentic to who they are. So when I'm talking about contagious energy, It's not fake. This is actual real people. It is their energy. It's how they are. The other caveat that I want to say with that is you're always going to have ups and downs. I know during the holidays, this is not always an easy time for people. And so those times, as you're driving to the end of the year and you're wanting to do as much as you can in your business, and if you've ever experienced grief, been there, done that, lost my parents, lost a healthy 58-year-old brother very unexpectedly in March, right before the pandemic started. And the biggest thing that hit me during the holidays, I lost my world championship horse of 22 years in a barn fire on Christmas night, 2012. So dealing with post-traumatic stress, working with a counselor to get through that, there are going to be times you've got those ebbs and flows. You've got those highs and lows where your energy is going to be up and down. When I'm talking about contagious energy, this isn't doing something that's fake or something that's inauthentic, but it's those times when you know that you really need to push in your business and you need to pull yourself out. If you're going to grieve, if you're going to have one of those days, I always say it's okay to have a pity party. Just don't stay long and don't ever invite anybody. So with that, when you want to tap into others' energy, connect with them. This can be in person, it can be online. And also, you're going to start to feel that fuel that can help start you when you're not feeling it truly within yourself. But I promise the more that you use these tips, you're going to have that energy in a storage bank, so to speak, that you're going to be able to tap into exactly when you need it so you can grow your business and achieve the success that you deserve. Okay, so how to find your source of inspiration. There are lots of different ways to do this. So the very first thing is look inside yourself. And you can do this by asking yourself a couple of questions. So the first is reflecting on your goals. Takes just a minute to do that. So every day think about what are you looking to accomplish, but more importantly, what you have accomplished. That is the bigger piece of inspiration. Because if all you're doing is you're looking at your goals, you're like, I haven't done this or this or this, it has a tendency to take you down that rabbit hole of self-talk and getting into that negativity bias piece where all you're going to see is more things that are going wrong and more timelines and more this and more that. So part of it is recognize what you want to do, then recognize what you have accomplished, those wins. That actually triggers a dopamine response. It's that feel-good chemical in your brain. And then think about the small steps that you need to take to move forward. Teeny tiny steps. I don't care if it's imperfect action, as long as you're taking action, that's what counts when it comes to inspiration. Because just sitting there doing nothing, you're not going to generate any energy, any physical energy at all, let alone mental energy to help you move out of that potential rut that you might be in. So think about the ways that you can tap into your creative energy and tap into your motivation. Of course, you can always look to others for inspiration. So listening to podcasts, I have certain podcasts that I listen to every single day. I've got books on Audible. There's never an excuse for not having time to educate yourself. And this can be for fun. It can be for work. There's always ways. I put in earbuds or I've got my phone on, I've got it on Audible. So that way, on the go, I'm listening to things. Depending on the mood and where I'm at, whether it's I'm wanting to learn something or getting that boost, I have different podcasts in my playlist and I have different books that I go to. Yeah, never forget the power of books. It's amazing, but look to others around you, but first look to yourself. All right, so number 3 is tips for staying motivated in your business. And I did put notes with this because there was so much I wanted to share, but I wanted to make sure I'm on track. So staying focused on your mission and vision. This is huge. And if you've never spent time on your mission and vision, then that's where you need to back up and start. It's the why you got started. What prompted you? Was that experience of what drove you to get into business in the first place? Was it a personal transformation that you went through? And now as you watch your clients experience the same thing, what is that why? Tapping into it. Simon Sinek he talks about start with why. His TEDx talk went totally viral. So that is going to help you create that connection to your energy when you're feeling a little off. Also, when you think about your why, but also think about your vision, that's the other half of this. Because the cool thing is the prefrontal cortex in your brain, science has shown that when you start visioning your future, you start tapping into what you see as your vision in the future, it literally lights up your prefrontal cortex. So what happens is, may not know this, but thinking, whether it's positive, negative, or limiting thoughts for 15 to 20 seconds starts to groove neural pathways in the brain. So that's why being very intentional with your thoughts, but being intentional with, I'm going to connect to my vision on a regular basis. Because when I do that, then that actually backs up and does a couple of things, especially when it comes to your messaging and your content marketing. I know we're talking about contagious business energy, but when you understand your why, you know what drives you, you know your business vision piece, then that actually helps you to create the core of your marketing, which connects with your client. So it's not only important for you, but it's also important for the clients that you serve, and then getting that information out onto your website and social media. So with that, once you know your vision, once you've got your why, then you back that up into your goals. And you want to make sure that you've got short-term goals. There's also a difference between an action step and a goal. Goals, you don't know how to accomplish them. A lot of people think I'm going to write all these things down on my to-do list for the day and that's a goal. Hate to tell you, it's not. Goals are what you set and you don't know the exact process of how it's going to get there. When you back it up and you chunk that down into smaller tactics and action steps, taking those actions can help you achieve a goal, but you don't always necessarily know the how you're going to do it. So when you back up and you say, okay, short term, these are these steps that I'm going to take. These are these, think about them like micro goals, then that can help you achieve that overall bigger goal, especially when you don't know how. You want to make sure you're writing these down too. Thinking about goals doesn't work. Thinking about your why doesn't work. Thinking about your vision does not work. You've got to be intentional and actually write these things down. Okay. The other thing is maintaining an energy level. This is number 4. So when you're looking at tapping into contagious energy, then that is truly figuring out how you can keep your energy level up. As I said, depending on the time of year, what might be going on in your life, you're going to have these ebbs and flows in energy. If by chance you happen to catch a cold, or worse yet, God forbid, COVID or something else, if you feel like crap, you're not going to have contagious energy. It's just not going to happen. But that's why understanding and really taking care of yourself and knowing when you've got that energy, especially here's a great time. If you know you're going to be going live, like today, if I'm going to be shooting reels, whatever it is that I'm doing, if my energy is down, it is going to come across on camera. It's absolutely going to come across up on camera. So a great example, yesterday, I know this happens. I've gone through it every year since 2006 when I lost my dad, and then it kind of progressed into some other things when I lost my mom, my brother, my horse, and so on and so forth. But I always know there's some point between October and January where I'm going to have one of those meltdown days. I don't care what's on my schedule. I don't care what the heck is going on. Completely have a meltdown day. That was yesterday. Every single thing triggered me. I was crying more often than I wasn't. I ended up with a headache. I ended up, you can't breathe with sinus, and I was completely exhausted. Thank God I didn't have anything pre-scheduled. Had yesterday been today, I would have redone this video at another time, because there's no way that if I want my authentic self to come out, if I'm going to be visible online, if I'm going to be creating content, don't do it when you feel like crap. If you're educating, if you're doing something that's business focused. Now, totally different when you want that authentic side and you're sharing a personal tidbit about what's going on. Case in point, last summer, I ended up going to a funeral. It was not anybody that I knew. It was my significant other. It was one of his clients. And what happened was, I had not gone to a funeral since my brother Craig passed in 2020. In fact, we were never able to have a funeral for him because of the pandemic. I went to the visitation, completely lost it. There was no way that I could sit through a funeral because what I was going to be doing was impacting everybody else there. And guess what? That funeral was not about me. It was about the individuals who were grieving the loss of their father. So, with that, I actually did record a reel in the parking lot. I had been crying. You could very easily tell that, but it was to make a personal statement. It was to let people know that I was struggling with this and also give people a chance so they could see sometimes when you've got that message, you just need to show up and it's okay. So, as I said, had I been doing this training video yesterday, this absolutely wouldn't have worked. However, having that, I'm going to reveal everything. So think about those times. Yes, you should have contagious energy, but there's a difference in driving you when you're doing business things versus when you're in front of your audience and what you're trying to convey through your message, through your brand. And sometimes, as I said, you're out on Instagram or you're out online and people look like, everything's perfect. Guess what? Everything in life is not perfect all the time. So this is truly how you can tap into that energy for yourself, but being authentic and maintaining your energy level. So with that, on those days, you're not going to be on, you always should take breaks. As a business owner, if I get chained to my desk, I don't know if you do, but if I get chained to my desk, then I know I need to get up and move. When the weather's gorgeous, right now it's a little chilly, but we've got trails out behind our house. For me, if I don't have time to go for a 30-minute or an hour walk, 5 minutes walking outside is a great brain break. Sometimes it's just getting in the car and driving. Sometimes it's walking downstairs, getting something to drink, and just physically getting away from technology. Because if you're chained to technology all day long, then that does not give your brain a break. So that's why figuring out what a break is for you. This morning, it was getting in the sauna, making sure that I had that before I started my day. Since to me, I knew that was part of my self-care routine, but in all honesty, I was watching YouTube videos while in the sauna and taking notes. So it was part of an educational time while I was helping my body. So technically not away from technology, but just understand the importance of taking those breaks, giving yourself mental breaks, and sometimes just physical breaks is what you need. Okay. Because you need to make sure you've got your energy up so you can be on your game in your business, and especially for your family when you get done, or friends or significant other when you get done working. And if it's just you and a cat, I've been there, then you got to be on for you and the cat or the dog. Okay. So with that, how do you keep your passion alive when things get tough? Here's one of the things that I want you to remember, if you remember nothing else from this, is too many people don't take action because they're afraid to fail. You will fail. If you've been in business long enough, mistakes are part of it. But the point of this is, if you want to keep your energy up, then consider in your head, yes, it was a mistake, but I always look at lesson learned. What's the lesson I learned because of this? Because when you know that there's a lesson, when you know that you're going to make mistakes in the process, then you have more of that. I'm willing to take the risk and move forward. I always suggest find mentors or find people who've been there, done that before you. So that way they can make that path from A to Z where you want to be as short and smooth as possible. But know that we're all going to make mistakes. It's just going to happen. It's part of life. So instead of beating yourself up, that's where that self-talk comes in. Then always think about, what's the lesson learned? What's the next step? If I got to do this again, what would I do the next time? Part of it is think small victories, and of course, giving yourself grace, because we're all going to do that. So a couple of questions that you can ask yourself when things seem to be overwhelming is, going back to, why did I start this business? Ask yourself, why did I start this business to begin with? And what was that driving force behind my passion? It's like, what drove me to do that in that way? Because sometimes it's your story. Sometimes it's a client that helped you out. But if you know what's driving you, then you can repeatedly tap into it. And then taking a few minutes to reflect on that is so very important. So, maintaining your energy level, as I said, when you start to tap into that motivation, it's going to help your energy level go up. It's going to help your focus go up. It's going to help that energy. And then final thoughts on how to achieve success in your business with contagious energy. This is such a powerful force. It can help you. Remember, you cannot control everything that's going on around you, but you can control how you think about everything that's going on around you. This is where you want to become aware of your self talk, what you're saying to yourself, what you're saying to others. Sometimes it's not negative, it's just limiting, but it all counts. We have over 50,000 thoughts a day. Then connecting back to your why, that's always a great thing. And then if you need an extra boost, look to the people around you, find that podcast, find that book, whatever that is. I will tell you, and oh my gosh, I wish I had it right. I wish I had it right now. I have, and I got them for Thanksgiving, it is a headband with 2 turkey drumsticks on it. Of course, there's, little stuff like stuffed animals. They're 2 turkey drumsticks. Every time I put those on, I laugh. My significant other, he'll come into the kitchen, whether it be I'm cooking or I'm just sitting there reading a book. That is one of the things that I do. And it's so funny. He laughs, I laugh. And when it's just me, we're all laughing because it's great, but it actually helps me to tap into just laughing helps get me motivated and gives me that enthusiasm. Okay, so using all of this is going to help you tap in to whatever you need when the world is going on around you. Okay, with that, I always do a quick recap. So, here's how you can find the contagious business energy you need to succeed. And by tapping into these tips, then you're going to be surprised at what you can accomplish and where you can pull yourself out of, when you're getting into one of those days when you need to. So, number 1 is, what is contagious business energy and why do we even need it? This is the type of energy that it helps to keep you focused. It helps to keep you motivated. And it's that feel good that happens inside. It's kind of like when you're in the groove with everything that's going right, it's like you're in the zone of your business. So when you're there and it's like everything in the world is amazing and it feels like it's just clicking on all cylinders, I had to throw that in. I'm a car girl. But it's also that it's not just positivity, but it's that mindset that you can succeed no matter what happens. So when you have that, as I said, you get more focused, you have the motivation. It really helps you to accomplish more in less time, and people around you can absolutely feel it. Okay, so number 2 is, how do you find your source of inspiration? So the first thing that you need to do is look inside yourself, because you can be that source of energy. You just may not know how to have tapped into it in the past. So when you think about what are your goals, what have you wanted to accomplish, why are you doing this? And then more importantly, think about what you've accomplished in your wins. Then that's when you tap into yourself for this. Now, there are times when you look to people outside of you. In the full version of this video, I mentioned a business mentor who I met back in 2005 named Denise Mills. She had that kind of energy that she literally walked up, lit up the room when she walked in. And when I first met Denise, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I want that. Meeting Denise, working through her process, later having the opportunity to work with her in her business, it literally changed how I function in my life, how I show up in my life, and it changed the course of my business and what I do now. So sometimes you're going to be looking for, if you're not finding it in yourself right away, then that's where looking for others around you. You are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with and that you spend the most time with. So consider who those people are. All right, number 3, tips for how to stay motivated in your business when you're not feeling motivated in your business. So with that is take some time. This is where reflection is going to be huge to help you. So if you take time and you really tap into that, why you started your business, what is that bigger vision of what you're wanting to accomplish? I would go back and look at the transformations that you have helped clients achieve. And if you just said, Joyce, my business isn't that old, I don't know that I've done that, then look at those wins or look at those things that you've done to help other people. And it doesn't matter if it's something personal, professional. These are all the things that's going to help spark energy. It's going to help spark that dopamine response in your brain. It's that feel good chemical, because when you do that, then it actually helps to give you more motivation to accomplish the next thing and accomplish the next thing, especially as, if they say like your elephant is the goal, that elephant is too much, then by breaking it down, but it's always remembering why you're doing this and then what are the wins, no matter how small, along the way. All right. Number 4 is the importance of maintaining energy. So you're like, well, how do I do that? Here's the big thing. If you are your business, if you have a family, you don't have a family, you've got pets, you've got kids, whatever else is going on in your life, you got to take care of you first. One of the things I remember, it's been years ago, it's that whole flight attendant when they say, if we lose oxygen, you've got to put your own mask on first before you can help other people. Otherwise, you might be passed out. So it's the same thing in your business. You've got to make sure that if you want to keep your energy up, that you're taking breaks. You're giving yourself a little time off. I'm not talking about vacations. I'm talking about small things that you can do. Right now, it's pretty darn cold in Missouri. However, I still get out. I go outside. And I make sure that if I can't have time to walk on trails, or in the next few days, we're supposed to have wind chills, 30 below zero, I can still get outside for a couple of minutes. And even if I'm moving around in the house, I'm still moving. Because for me, even when I'm stuck in business, if I sit there and I'm like, I can't think of anything, I can't do anything, but I make that movement, then that's what helps to spark that energy. In this case, when it comes to building your energy, you also have to give your brain a break, because if you're working too hard and you're not giving yourself time off, then that will truly burn you out. So you have to give yourself breaks in the process. All right. So how do you keep your passion alive when things are tough? Easy things to do, especially when times are challenging, is go back to, why did you start your business in the first place? What was that driving thing that gave you that passion, that gave you that purpose? Because sometimes, as I said, even reflecting on that, not necessarily the goals that you've accomplished this week, but going back to all the reason why. And sometimes it's even going back to, I was telling this story to a friend the other day, why I decided that I wanted to do coaching to begin with. And it wasn't that. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a teacher. That was the very first thing I told myself. I always wanted to be a teacher. Well, guess what? Fast forward to 2008, I am a teacher. I just do it differently. So sometimes it's not why you started your current business. It's what drove you to get into the work that you do when you were a kid. Sometimes that might be sitting there. All right. And then final thoughts on how to achieve success in your business. This is a big one. So you cannot control everything that's going on around you. In fact, you might be lucky if you control a third of it, just saying, if even that, but you can control how you think about it. And it is your response to what happens to you is going to be one of the biggest factors in if you succeed or if you fail. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have those days. So pay attention to how you're responding. That also means paying attention to your self-talk. What are you saying about it? We've got over 50,000 thoughts a day, and not all of them are being said out loud. Sometimes it's somebody saying something to us, something that we're reading, but your subconscious is imprinting them. So to succeed in business, pay attention to your self-talk. You want to think LBs and NTs, liked best next time. If you do something, you make a mistake, it doesn't go as planned. What did you like best about what you actually did? What's that lesson learned? And then what are you going to do next time? Give yourself a break. You're in business. There's a lot, but you know what? It's all about taking that action and moving forward. So if you want to succeed faster, then that's where tapping into contagious energy is a must. And in this video, I have given you the tips to do it. If you're just watching the recap, go back and watch the entire video. And of course, you can always get access to the show notes, which are on the website, along with a full replay of this, because the show notes are different than the full video. Of course, I always ad lib. All right. And with that, I have mentioned that tapping into your vision is so crucially important to get you where you want to go. So the other thing is my drive planning system. Yes, we're coming around to the first of the year. I can't believe 2023 is almost here. But you know what? Creating that long-term vision, creating those bold goals, we need to be doing that every 3 months. So if you want to tap into my drive planning system, not only are you going to get the system and tools, but you're also going to get 2 modules specifically devoted to how the brain works. So one is comfort zone, so how you can bust through comfort zones and you can kick procrastination to the curb. And the other is how to use your reticular activating system to help you spot the people, the places, and the resources you need to get to your end result faster. So if you want to take advantage of that, Drive is always available at layman.live/drive. With that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week and tap into your contagious energy whenever you need it. I will see you next time.